What's good, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and it looks like Belal Muhammad is fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov in December at UFC 310. And I thought that Kamaru Usman was going to get the title shot because there is some things from Belal that made it seem like he was trying to build a fight with Kamaru Usman. And there was guys like Joe Rogan, Dean Thomas, and Chael Sonnen talking about how Kamaru Usman should get the next title shot and how he might be getting the next title shot. But in the end, the UFC, in my opinion, did the right thing. I think Shavkat is the number one contender. He's on a long win streak. Whereas a guy like Usman, although those losses might have been a bit controversial, he is on a 3-fight losing streak. So having a guy who's undefeated, I believe he's 18-0 versus a guy who's 0-3 in his last fight, it makes more sense to have a guy like Shavkat get the next title shot. But now we're a few months away from this fight, and my early kind of prediction is that Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to win this fight. I'm leaning more towards Shavkat. As the fight goes on, I might, change my mind. Who knows? But right now, I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to beat Belal Muhammad. Now, Belal is a fighter. He can do it all. He can strike. He can grapple. But I think his biggest asset in this fight is his preparation, his fight IQ, the way he breaks down fights and comes up with game plans to successfully beat his opponents. For example, with a guy like Sean Brady, he knows that Brady is a great grappler and he's beaten most of his opponents through his grappling. And Sean Brady had struggled with Michael Chiesa on the feet. So Belal basically built a game plan around just defending the takedowns and striking and pushing Sean Brady back in order to make the takedowns from him a lot more predictable. And also, Sean Brady wasn't that good at fighting on the back foot. So that was a great game plan from Belal. With a guy like Stephen Thompson, he knew that he had to put a lot of pressure on him and use his wrestling. And also against Gilbert Burns, he knew that Gilbert Burns had a lot of power in his right hand, and Gilbert could knock him out with that. He had dropped several opponents and knocked out people with that overhand right. And to make sure he didn't get hit with it, Belal was throwing a lot of left head kicks to get Gilbert to block his face instead of trying to throw out his right hand. It was a great game plan from Belal, and he also saw that the jab was a great tool that worked on Gilbert. It dropped him twice with Khamzat and Usman, and he was using his jab, using a lot of movement so that he wasn't getting caught with those big overhands, and he wasn't engaging in the grappling because he knew that Gilbert was potentially dangerous off his back, and he was just defending the takedowns from Gilbert whenever Gilbert would shoot takedowns. But for a guy like Shavkat, I don't think that Belal is going to be able to come up with a successful game plan. I don't think he has the right tools to beat a guy like Shavkat. I feel like to beat Shavkat, I think someone with a lot of power in their hands, good boxing, good grappling defense, and also good cardio should potentially be able to beat someone like Shavkat. And I feel like Belal doesn't really have that sort of power to stop Shavkat from constantly pressuring him. And also with the grappling, I feel like Shavkat is going to be able to submit Belal if Belal goes for his double leg takedown. Sometimes he does leave his head open to get choked out, and Shavkat, he's got like a long frame, he's got long arms, and that helps you a lot for choking submissions. And also, I think Shavkat is going to be able to take Belal Muhammad down. And if he does, I think he can potentially submit him from anywhere. Shavkat has shown the ability to submit some opponents from positions where he didn't really fully have control over them, and he was still able to finish them. I think Shavkat is going to be pushing Belal Muhammad back, and sometimes Belal, he likes to throw those body kicks when he's moving backwards. He likes to cut angles and then go with big body kicks from the southpaw position. But I think Shavkat can counter those by catching the kicks and then turning it into a takedown. And given that Belal already is giving up his leg, it's going to make the takedown a lot easier. And Belal's boxing defense is not really the best. He just usually, whenever he gets a punch thrown at him, he reaches out with both hands instead of pairing with one hand while keeping the other hand up. Instead of maybe potentially using some head movements, using his footwork to evade punches, he's kind of awkward with his boxing defense. And Shavkat has shown to have some power in his hands, and also he's a taller fighter, so landing punches is going to be a lot easier. But also, Shavkat is going to be throwing a lot of kicks at Belal. That's a big part of his game. And Belal hasn't really shown a great ability to defend against calf kicks or regular leg kicks because he's kind of got a wider stance. And his style of boxing defense, where he's just reaching out for punches, it could get him caught with like a head kick if Shavkat goes for like a punch combination, and then he finishes it off with like a head kick. He could catch Belal clean, and Belal likes to fight out the southpaw stance too, so that right head kick is gonna be open for Shavkat. And also, I feel like Shavkat is one of the most well-rounded and most dangerous fighters that Belal has faced in a long time. I mean, if you look at a guy like Leon Edwards, yes, you could say he was well-rounded, but he lacked that finishing ability that Shavkat had, and also he has some moments where he shows some low fight IQ when he's defending takedowns from Belal. Instead of like breaking the clinch and trying to land elbows or just going back to striking, he continues to engage in the grappling, which gives Belal an opportunity to reverse him and end up in a dominant position. And then you look at a guy like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy had great striking, but his grappling really isn't all that. Then there's Sean Brady, who had great grappling, but didn't really have anything on the feet. Vicente Luque, great striker, but he lacked that grappling. Also, he didn't really let his hands go that much in that fight. Then there's Damian Maia, who's just a grappler, and he doesn't really strike. And Shavkat is going to be bringing a lot of threats to Belal, and I think he's going to win.